Have you ever heard of the video game Hello Neighbor? Well, if you haven't, then why are you watching this video? Get out! But in all seriousness, Hello Neighbor is a game that not many people enjoy because of all the bugs that are in it, but there's always been one version of Hello Neighbor that stood out more than the rest. Of course I'm talking about Alpha 2. What would you think I'd be talking about? Alpha 1? Hell no, that sucks. But hidden deep within the console, there is a scary map called Neighbor 3. Well, I explored that place, and I'm gonna just show you what I did, bro. I'm gonna drop the spooky act. Enjoy. So the map itself is actually very dark, so I'd recommend to put post-processing and shadows at low before starting. And to actually get into the map, you literally just gotta press the apostrophe button on your keyboard, which will activate the command mode, and you gotta type in the command surfer travel neighbor 3, and then that's basically how I got in. So when I loaded in, there was a staircase next to me and a wall also next to me, and at the bottom of the staircase there was a little living room set up, and to the side of the living room set up there was a basement door. But then the neighbour saw me and he caught me, so when I next spawned in I decided to search in the door next to me, and I found a radio and a dresser that was halfway in the floor. And then when I went into the other door that was also in that room, lit some fireworks, cause why not, then walked up a staircase and found a lawnmower. Looked around, didn't seem to be anything else, but then I found a gun, which means I could shoot the neighbour in self-defense, of course, not just for no reason, definitely. Then down the staircase across from me there was a door which had a light on it, and when I went in there was a sleeping neighbour that wasn't even on his bed. There was a really bright generator and a TV, and then the door next to him was locked too. And then there was also a ladder in the room, so I went down the ladder really slowly for some reason. Then, taking the chair off that door that was there, I was greeted by a kitchen. But for some reason you couldn't interact with like any of the stuff in the kitchen. I don't really know what this is for, and like half the stuff in this map is in the floor, so that was weird. But the two doors does lead to the little living room setup again, so that was interesting, I guess. Then I failed to get up the ladder back into the neighbour's room for a little bit. But then when I did get up there, it was really just the same, and that door that was there had a chair on it, and there was a sofa through the keyhole, so then I managed to fall through the floor somehow, and then the neighbour was there. Luckily he got caught in his bear trap, and I managed to hide in a weird scuffed closet that was halfway in the floor, and he didn't see me somehow, even though I was in plain sight. And eventually he did leave me alone, but that took about like 2 minutes, and then I left the closet over to this door that seemingly just led to a big drop, which would actually end up being useful as an escape, as when I went to check out a locked door, the chase music started again and I had to jump out the door, and I could finally see the front of the big house mansion thing, so that was cool. After fiddling around with the little generator for a bit, the neighbour jumped out of the upstairs window and just kind of stood there for some reason. So then I ended up walking around the corner from the house. The neighbour just disappeared, and I collected a bear trap as well, because I thought that might have been useful if I was like cornered in the big house or something, I don't know. On the TV table thing, there's nothing in the drawer, but there was a lockpick, which I took gladly. Now I did try to use this on a locked door that I saw off camera, but nope, it didn't work. Then I went through his kitchen again and into the room with the bear trap, and I found out that that door that was locked literally was just right there, so I didn't really need to unlock it. And then I phased into the floor a little bit, and then I went back up the ladder into the sleeping neighbour room. I decided to investigate this weird ladder thing, and turns out you can actually climb up it, but it doesn't appear in the actual game for some reason. Then near that room there was a locked door that I couldn't use a lockpick on, next to my escape room. And opening a door that was nearby to that room, I found a little bathroom, and I went up these stairs to see what was up. There was a locked door there, and a door that you could open that took you to a weird bedroom looking place. After wandering around for a little while, I saw one of the signs that was in the unused chase sequence that says hide here, and I tried to pick up a chair and attempted to get up onto this bed, platform 1, for a good 5 minutes. I sped up the footage so it's nicer to watch, but it was mainly just me messing around. Eventually I gave up and decided to take a box with me along with that bear trap I found, because you never know when you're going to need a box. Then I found a weird door that was like halfway in the floor for some reason, I don't know. And then at the top of the stairs there was nothing, but then disaster struck. Turns out the neighbour's crappy AI managed to make him wander upstairs, and because of my recording software, he died because my mouse went over it somehow during the gameplay. This happens a lot more times, and it's only when trying to escape the neighbour, which is really annoying. Then, heading back through the bathroom after I respawned, I went through that door, and it turns out it just takes you down the same hallway that I would have gone down if I didn't go in the bathroom, but oh well. So, I turned on the generator, which I still don't know what it did, and then the neighbour appeared, again. Then for about like 30 seconds of just messing around and trying not to die, I ended up jumping out the window and going outside. And after a while I thought I was safe, but then I saw the neighbour in the window and he was just standing there, menacingly. So I went up to him and shot him, and that fixed his AI, but then he just stood there again. I don't know what's up with that singular window, but he just breaks his AI every single time. On the side of the house I found another ladder with another glitch door and a weird switch on it, so attempting to climb up and eventually climbing up, I found out that you can't go through the door and it's basically useless anyway, so I decided to look around all the other sides of the house to see if there's anything there. Turns out there was nothing there, and this map is that big that I might go insane. Where is the normal neighbour's house? Ended up finicking around with that weird ladder again before going back inside the house, but then I found out that the neighbour just hadn't moved the entire time for some reason, so I ended up breaking a window, and that must have fixed his AI somehow, because then he started charging at me, which wasn't very helpful for the moment. But turns out that stupid ladder was actually useful after all, because it saved me from getting killed by the neighbour. So that's cool. He went back inside, which means that I could go back inside. I wanted to check that about that hallway with the generator again, and there was a weird door there, and I also found a key, the first key that I found. And then there was also a boarded up door that was slightly broken with a key on the wall with a light on it. I never managed to find the crowbar, so I never got that key. And then turns out that that room that ladder with the broken door went into was actually just right there. You couldn't get through it though, because there was another glitchy closet in the way. But there seemed to be some parkour thing in there that I probably needed to do to get some sort of item. But then when I was looking around for something to use the key on, my recording software came in again, nearly got me killed, but then I switched to the gun and me and the neighbour played cat and mouse for like 2 minutes straight. But then disaster struck again, as when he got near me, my recording software kicked in again and made me throw the gun. And then I lost the gun. Nah, I'm only joking, I found it like a minute later. Then I found out that the neighbour really likes good timing, because when I opened the door through that first dresser radio room, he was right there. And I can't even begin to tell you how hard it was for me to just lose him. But then, my crappy recording software, you know what it did? You know what it did? It made me throw the gun at his massive chin again, which wasn't very helpful for my situation, because he was right around the corner now. But as luck had it, the gun was right around the corner and the neighbour wasn't. He must have like a set spawn or something, because I don't really know what else it would be useful for. And then I used the key on that one door that I said I'd never need to unlock, which was fun. And then me and the neighbour just spent like 3 minutes just doing whatever the hell this is. Like, what is going on in this clip? I'm so confused. Like, I just shoot him a lot and then explore more. After escaping, I got really paranoid that he would find me, so I ended up placing a bear trap on the double doors. But then, you wanna know what the crazy thing that happened was? He appeared on the door that I couldn't defend against, and this was really bad. And then I got put on my own trap, which was not ideal either. Then I just kinda got bored and turned the thing off, and I also just can't be bothered to record anymore, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, then I will cut all your legs off. Okay, bye!